Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be looking at the Polestar 3 in the static version, so meaning we're not going to be able to drive it, but we're still going to take a look at it and see what it offers. We right here have the performance package, so the top end, that's going to produce 517 horsepower. However, it's going to cost you 95,200 euros, so quite a hefty amount. If you get the non-performance version, you're going to be looking at the dual motor version, which is going to have 489 horsepower with 840 Newton meters, so quite a lot, and this one has 910. Let's first of all take a look at the front, where you can see we again have the normal Volvo or Polestar lights, which look very, very nice. I like that, with some black touches around, which are all going to be gloss black or piano black, which does look pretty cool. And in the front we do have the smart zone, which just like in the Polestar 2, this is a little bit smaller, but we do have our smart zone in here, so the sensor cluster, that's what it's also called, for the camera in the front, 360-degree camera, and also some other safety features which are in there, which is a nice touch. Let me know if you think that is nicer than a fake grille. I personally like it. If we go further down, we can see we do have some intakes in here, which do look pretty cool and just makes the front look a little bit aggressive. And because we do also have some, well, CV touches, the CV value is actually fairly high at 0.29 for the Mustang, for instance, that we had the Mach-E 0.233, and that's almost basically the same size. Up here, if you come a little bit closer, we can see we have kind of like this front end spoiler where we can see that the air is going to go over the hood. That's going to help the aerodynamic and just look a little bit nicer. I personally like it, but it is going to open, or it's going to make the front a little bit difficult to open because you have to do it from the side, you can't do it from the front. Let's continue further on to the side, where we can see that we do also have a little bit of a Polestar logo on the side, which does look pretty cool. And we also have these big 22-inch rims wheels, which do also have with the Polestar edition or the performance edition, you also get your big Brembo brakes in here, which are also very nice. And these are basically the same as the one we just had on the Polestar 2. The rims in here, Pirelli P0, which are very, very nice, and just in general touches look pretty cool. These are actually not ventilated. I don't know if that's going to be in the final production. If those are going to be ventilated, can't tell you about that one. If we go further onto the side, we can see down here we do also have the description of the Polestar 3, where we can see the battery in here is going to be 110 or 111 actually kilowatts an hour, which is a fairly big battery, and that's going to give you a range of up to 610 kilometers. If you, however, get the performance mode or the performance package, that's going to limit the range down to 560. We do also have 380 kilowatts of power, which is going to produce up to 517 horsepower, which is quite a lot, like I said. Further on, we do have our side mirrors again with our wonderful cameras on here for the full 360-degree camera. And if you look further down, we can see this is actually not plastic. It does look a little bit like plastic, but it's actually fairly good quality down here. Just makes it look a little bit more, well, luxurious, and just it looks actually pretty cool. We have our wonderful door handles on the side, which do fold in once the car is closed. And further on, really design on the side, let me know what you think of it. I think it looks fairly. If you take a look on the back, we can see the lights are reversed compared to the Polestar 2. The Polestar 3 has a lights bar going up on the top and then going down in the C shape down the bottom. That is reversed with the Polestar 2, obviously. But still, it in my opinion, it looks a little bit round in the back. Got a little bit weight onto it. It also weighs 2.5 tons, or up to, what, 2,580, up to 2,670, which is quite a good amount, and the car obviously is fairly heavy. So it's fairly round on the back, a little bit different to the Polestar 3, which is right behind us, and that is fairly bulky, well, not bulky, but more square on the back. Again, we have the same touches. These are not plastic touches, so fairly high quality, which does look pretty cool. We also have a towing capacity, or towing hook, capability of 2.2 tons, which is quite a good amount, but it's going to cost you 1,400 euros extra. Let's open the trunk quickly. And the trunk space in here is actually fairly decent. We do have 1,411 and down to 400 and what was it, 85?
84.
84. So 1 liter difference. Okay, I'm sorry. Down here we do have a little bit of extra storage for 90 liters. You can put your charging cables in there, or you can also put that in the front, which we'll take a look at here in a second. And you can also flip this up, which I just did. But you do also have fairly good towing hooks in here, which are safety straps, which is also nice. And you can see we can also fold down the back there just for some more pass through, for instance, skis or something like that. And the load is fairly high because the car is, well, not that high, but the loading height is actually going to be a little bit higher. So around 1.6 meters, that's how tall the car is. And then if you obviously want more space, you can put up the front, where we have this little magnetic thing, which is actually pretty cool. So it does, you can hear that, is with magnetics. And in here we have a little bit more storage space where you can just put some cables in there or whatever you want. So a charging port is going to allow us in both versions to charge up to 250 kilowatts, which is a good loading speed. And that's going to give you from 10 to 80% in around 30 minutes, which is a fairly good rate. and obviously 111 kilowatts battery, which is pretty nice. Kilowatts an hour battery. And the front's also very, very nice. We got a lot of good touches in here. One thing I did complain about in the Polestar 2 was the space that you have on the center console. You actually have a good amount of space down here and a little bit more actually up here with 2 USB-Cs in there as well, which is a nice touch, because in the Polestar 2 it just feels a little bit more claustrophobic in there. But here it doesn't, because you also got a nice little panoramic roof. Well, not little, it's actually massive. You can't open it, unfortunately, but that is because it just looks a little more fluid, because you got that full panoramic roof going all the way through, which is nice. When it comes to storage space, you got quite a lot, like I said, down there. And we also have some in the center console with a thing that goes down like 50 meters. That thing is massive. I don't know what you want to put in there, but you can put like big bottles in there as well, which is nice. And a lot of piano black in the middle, which I'm not the biggest fan of because that's going to scratch a lot. It looks good at the start, but then after a while it doesn't look that nice. In here we do have 2 cup holders and also a Google built-in. So we do actually have Android in here, and we do have Google Maps built into it. Inductive loading in the front, which is also a nice little touch, and this big play and pause button for your audio selection and general selection. This is a test build, so the system in here is not going to fully work, but you can see you got your navigation, which basically is the same, and then you got Google Assistant. So it's an Android car. Hopefully, what I'm hoping is that this also has wireless Apple CarPlay, unlike the Polestar 2. That would be a very, very nice touch. You can also see the steering wheel has been built a lot different. This is a cool looking, wonderful little steering wheel. But we do have these touch-sensitive controls, which again, I'm not the biggest fan of. It does make it look very sleek. But I'll have to test it out how it actually feels. I can't do it right now because it's a pre-production car, so it's not going to be able to turn on. And if I'm not totally mistaken, I think this also... Actually, no, it doesn't. Okay, I thought this was going to move with your steering input, but it doesn't. It looks a little bit more like the Ford Mustang Mach-E that we had in there. So the display in here actually, well, hopefully once it turns on, it looks pretty good. And also the heads-up display we have in here, unlike in a Polestar 2. One thing up here, which just looks amazing, looks like a jet turbine, is the Bowers & Wilkins sound system, which has 25 speakers. You actually have 2 in your headrest, which is nice. And this is going to produce 1,610 watts. If it's anything like the Volvo Bowers & Wilkinson sound system that you have, this sounds amazing. Definitely an option that is going to come standard with the car, so very, very nice. Quality-wise in here, wonderful fabric on here, which is very, very smooth and just feels amazing to rest your hand on. The seats in here are basically the same that we had in the Polestar 2 just a couple of days ago. Ventilated and heated seats. And also up here you can see you got this black touch, which looks very, very cool with contrast to the white, which is the Napa leather. And you can also see the animal welfare secured 1.8 points, so you can see how much CO2 it produced. And you can also 100% traced leather, so just a small little touch or gimmicky. Traced leather basically, if I'm not totally mistaken, means that you're able to trace back to where that leather actually came from. And then quality-wise, on the side we do have the Bowers & Wilkinson, again, logo on there, which looks really nice. And further down, just amazing quality. And then also another Bowers & Wilkinson down there. And down on the bottom, it's actually not plastic, but a very, very nice, well, not a very, very nice, but a little bit cheaper than the other materials up top. But it still feels very nice, so you don't have any plastic here at all. Like I said, infotainment system, it also feels like it's a little bit floating in there. Obviously, it's connected to the back, but it just looks very sleek and nice. We do also have electrical seats, which only have one button, and they control everything. So you can up them, you can also, if you press on the sides, this doesn't work right now. Okay, you can look on here. It just popped up with tow mode, jack mode. So that's a little bit cool. So it does seem like it has an air suspension where you can jack up the mode. I don't know if that's what it means, but maybe the suspension is going to level up a little bit, which is cool. We do also, one thing that we do have is soft closed doors, which is nice. You can see a clip of that right now. Again, the back feels really, really spacious because of that big panoramic window. You do also have good amount of headrest. I'm headroom, 5'11" or almost 6 foot. That's what I like to think, or 1.80 meters tall. So if you're over the height of, I don't know, 6'4", you're not going to have room in here, but otherwise you have plenty of room. You can also see up here, this is actually adjusted to a way bigger person than me. So I still have plenty of room. Just like in any other electric car, you're not going to have the best thigh support due to the fact that the batteries are below. So yeah, long distance might be a little bit uncomfortable, but otherwise this feels really, really nice, and you can't stretch this out. But again, I don't know if they're going to be vented or only heated seats in the back, which is okay, but they also feel really, really comfortable with easy to get access to your ISOFIX point, just like any other Polestar, but you got to put this somewhere. If you lose track of it, you're going to get a lot of stuff in there. Again, with the Polestar edition, or the engineered edition, with the performance package, there you go, you get your wonderful golden touches in here again, and you also get a center console where you can also have some wonderful cup holders in there, 2 of them. And like I said, center console is going to be able to fold out just so you can have some skis going through here. In the center, we do also have a touch-sensitive controls for our heated seats and also our climate control in the back. 2 climate controls right here, which is nice, and 2 USB-Cs down here. We also have a little bit more storage space in here, which look very, very sturdy. If you look at the side, again, basically the same as the front, same material, Bowers & Wilkinson everywhere, which is amazing. And also Bowers & Wilkinson actually in the roof, which is also cool. So right up here we do have some Bowers & Wilkinson and some more light down here, which isn't actually that big. But that is basically it for the back. So let me know what you guys think of the Polestar 3. Hopefully this gave you a quick insight of what the car is potentially going to look like, because this is still a pre-production car, but it does look fairly good in my opinion. I'm excited to think or to see what this car is going to offer in the SUV space. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.